D-Lo 404 Boxing. Shout out to Marlo's Corner, Trey X, and the whole block fam. Hey, Trey X did a phenomenal job this weekend calling the frog out of well on those that PBC card. Did a good job calling the Spencer fight, the Lil B Hop or Showtime Colbert fight, and also the main event. Right now, I want to talk about that main event. Julian J.Rock Williams going into that fight. I had my concerns and reservations about whether or not he could be trusted in the face of adversity or even in the face of great expectations. And the reason I say that is we know that with J.Rock, when he had his fight with Jamal Charlo, the expectation was that he was, by many, he was the guy that Jamal Charlo didn't want to fight. And Jamal Charlo was leaving the division to go up to middleweight, and a lot of people were saying that he didn't want to smoke with J.Rock. Well, he decided to go ahead and clear that. Jamal Charlo decided to clear that up and stay and fight J.Rock. But going into that fight, there were still those who felt strongly that J.Rock was going to be a little too much. And we saw how that fight ended with J.Rock losing by knockout. I don't remember whether it was TKO or KO. But either way, the expectation was there that he was going to be Charlo's toughest test. And that he didn't live up to that expectation. All right? The expectation going into the Hurd fight was that Hurd was just going to be too much for J.Rock and eventually going to wear J.Rock down and stop him late. Well, J.Rock exceeded expectations and proved that he was too much for Hurd. But I say all of that to say this, that when it comes to expectations, I've heard multiple champions say over the years that it's harder to defend a championship than it is to actually win a championship. This was J-Rock's first title defense. When the fight started, J-Rock looked like he was in control and looked like he was about to run downhill on Rosario. Come the second round, Rosario started finding his spots. He started finding his jab. He got himself into the fight, and he ended up cutting J-Rock on his eyelid. I think it was his left eyelid. When that happened, it's like all J-Rock could concentrate on was that cut. He was no longer fighting, from my vantage point, he was no longer fighting to take control of the fight and to establish dominance. He was more so fighting to defend himself. And it was like he was trying to wade through the murky waters until things got better for him. And he could, reestablish himself as the boss in there. Well, that never happened. Rosario was able to continue to work that jab. He was able to continue to hit him with combinations. Rosario finished a lot of his combinations with a left hook to the body. And he just constantly kept pressure on J-Rock until he landed the shot that he needed to land to pretty much change the fight for good in his favor. And J-Rock just had no answers. It was almost a reverse of how the J-Rock Hurd fight looked early on, where J-Rock dropped Hurd, and basically Hurd was like trying to figure him out and trying to find answers that weren't there to be had. The only difference is Hurd was able to withstand and sustain the punishment and make it to the final bell. All in all, I will say that J-Rock getting stopped and losing this fight tells a story about the 154-pound division. This division is tough, it's stacked, and you got guys at the bottom of the list when it comes to the top 10, top 15, who can give these guys that are sitting top 5, top 1 or 2, all they can handle. The reality is that Rosario, he has a knockout loss on his record to Nathan Gallimore. We last saw Gallimore losing to Lubin in dominant fashion. Okay, we also know that Lubin was stopped in one round by Jermell Charlo. But now Lubin looks the part of a serious contender at 154 again. So it's one of those things where the division is so tight that you can no longer just go into these fights and just say that anybody is gonna just run over the other guy, because we've seen that with Tony Harrison getting a win over Charlo. So it is just one of those situations. But that's all I gotta say on the subject. D-Lo 404 Boxing. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.